Hey guys, welcome back to Ben & Brewing's channel. If you haven't been here before, we do product reviews, tutorials, and we have a live chat feature on our website to help you through your Brew Day 911s. Check it out at benandbrewing.com, lower left-hand corner. Today's video, we're actually revisiting something that I've been wanting to test for quite a while, hop water. It's something that has been kind of the rage a couple of years ago, and it seems to start to resurface again, and there's been quite a few advancements on the techniques used to make hop water. We're going to do it in our Pot-Au-Brew system and see if we can test some of those theories. Let's check it out. All right, well, if you haven't noticed already, we are not shooting in our normal studio because it's hot out here in Arizona. It's 111 degrees today, I believe. So we're actually in our somewhat new office, which is still being under construction. So let me know your thoughts on the new space, temporarily anyway. So this video is not sponsored by Homebrewer Labs, but we are using their Pot-Au-Brew system to make our hop water today. Now, Homebrewer Labs has a number of different brewing solutions, and we love pretty much all of them. So if you see anything in the video that you'd like to purchase in your or for your own brewery, feel free to use the links below. Those are affiliate links that does help to support our channel. Speaking of support, I do want to give a big shout out to Steve from Tucson, Arizona, who actually used our Buy Me a Coffee link and was able to kind of throw a couple dollars our way, a couple coffees our way to help support our channel. That does mean a lot. YouTubing is tough. This stuff can get expensive, and we do appreciate any support you guys can lend. So on to the hop water. So I attempted to make hop water several years ago, and it was actually a pretty simple process. It was cold steeping hops in water and then carbonating it, and I added some lime juice to it to kind of acidify it and kind of brighten it up a bit, and it turned out okay, but it really wasn't exactly what I was looking for, and so I actually hadn't made it since. So recently I read an article in Brewlosophy, and they had an interesting concept as far as pre-boiling your hop water before you actually make it, and that helps to drive off oxygen. There's other benefits that come with that. It also makes it more shelf-stable. And while I was reading that, it reminded me of another article that I read about adding yeast to your hop water, because the yeast will change the way the hop flavor comes across, more similar to how a beer's hop flavor tastes. So I figured we'd try both of these things today on the Pot-Au-Brew. All right, so let's talk more in depth about the two theories that we're testing today. And the first one is pre-boiling your hop water. Why would you want to do that? Well, the theory is, well, it's not theory, it's actually science. When you're pre-boiling your water, you're actually driving off any dissolved oxygen that is currently existing in your water. The benefit of that is without oxygen in the water, your hop flavors and oils will not oxidize and turn stale quickly. This makes your hop water more shelf-stable and better utilization of the hop oils themselves. The second benefit is the increase in carbonation potential. Because you're driving off all the oxygen, the water is wanting to absorb any gases that are around it. And so if you are putting it under pressure with a CO2 atmosphere, it tends to absorb more CO2, so your carbonation potential is actually much higher. And the final advantage is actually kind of an obvious one. Because you are actually boiling your hops, you are getting it to isomerize or dissolve more readily into your, well, it's not wort, I guess, it's just more water. There is some debate on not actually having any sugar content in your water, like wort or like a grain sugar or an extract, where there may be some limits on how much of the hop oils you can dissolve into your hop water if you don't have any sugar into it. For today's experiment, we're not adding any sugar, we're just doing water. So the second theory we're testing is adding yeast to the hop water. And a lot of people may be saying, well, there's no sugar, there's nothing in there for the yeast to ferment. It's just going to go dormant immediately. That's not 100% true. There are actually little bits of sugar within the hop oils themselves within the hops. And so the yeast will actually utilize that and do kind of a mini fermentation. Now, it's not going to be enough to produce enough alcohol, so it's considered a alcoholic beverage. It actually will be so low, it is considered non-alcoholic. Additionally, when you add yeast to the hop water and they actually do their little mini fermentation, they actually transform the hop flavors and the hop oils to be more similar to what goes through with beer. It's called biotransformation, and it's kind of an important aspect if you're trying to capture the hop flavors that you're used to from a beer into the hop water. So for today's recipe, we really wanted to keep it pretty simple. So we're starting out with just 2 gallons of water, and we're using reverse osmosis water. If you don't have access to that, you can certainly use tap water. If you're using a tap water or a spring water, well, for tap water, make sure it's filtered. For spring water, I wouldn't worry too much about the mineral additions we're going to talk about next, just more concerned with the acidification of it based on your mineral profile. So for our reverse osmosis water, we're adding 1.2 grams of calcium chloride. We're adding 3 ounces of hops. And for today, we're actually going to do Mosaic because I kind of like that flavor profile. It's what I've been into lately. You can really use any type of hops that you want. And now we're using 2 milliliters of lactic acid. You can use an appropriate amount of citric acid if you would like. Lactic acid is just kind of what I have on hand from brewing, so that is what I'm using. The goal is to make sure that your water is acidified to a pH of 3.2 to 3.6. That makes it more shelf stable and less likely for little critters and things to try to take root in there, and also should add a little bit of brightness to it because of the acidity. All right, so we've got our 2 gallons of water. We're going to go ahead and put that into our Pot-Au-Brew pot and add our calcium chloride. Additionally, we're going to add our 2 milliliters of lactic acid, and we're going to check it to make sure the pH is in the range of 3.2 to 3.6. Next, we're going to heat our full pot of water to 170 degrees. Once it reaches 170, you're going to pull off 16 ounces of the water, put it aside, and you're going to add half of your total hop additions into that 16 ounces. Put it aside and let it steep. That's going to be what's called our hop dip. Once that's done, go ahead and bring your pot to a boil. And once it starts to boil, you're going to add the rest of your hops. What I recommend doing is adding your hops into some sort of a hop basket, a hop spider, a hop sock, which unfortunately I forgot to do during this presentation, but make sure that you do so that you can pull the hops out later and make the hop water a little more stable long term. Once the hops are added, you're going to boil for a total of 10 minutes. Once your boil is complete, go ahead and chill it down to 70 degrees, so fermentation temperature. Go ahead and add your hop dip into your total volume, again, utilizing your hop spider, hop sock, whatever, to filter it out. And then go ahead and pitch your yeast. Allow it to ferment for 4 days at about 15 psi. After that, you're going to crash cool it for about 3 days to let everything settle out. This is the time to add additional carbonation pressure if you need to boost the carbonation levels. The good news, if you're not able to pull out all of the hop junk that you've just put into your hop water after fermentation, Homebrewer Labs Float It 2.0, their floating dip tube has screens on it that'll actually filter out all of that hop particulates, so there's no worries from trying to serve if you're unable to pull that stuff out. Once you get 3 days to absorb the carbonation, you are ready to serve. All right, guys, we are here for the tasting of the hop water in the Pot-Au-Brew. We actually have been a little delayed getting around the tasting because we were supposed to taste this kind of a week after or so, but unfortunately we got busy with some other videos and things that we were doing, so it's actually been about 3 weeks, maybe 4. So I'm curious to see how the hop flavor has developed over time, if it has started to kind of turn, because it's kind of the scare a little bit when you have that much hop oils and things in the water. So Get a taste?
Let's do it.
Here we go. Cheers.
Cheers.
Very strong hop aroma.
That's a very strong hop
That is intense.
aroma. Yeah.
Citrusy.
Smells like straight up hops.
That is intense. Okay, so the last time we did this, I did the hop water. It tasted like watered down hop tea. It was kind of weak. You get the full force of the hops with this. Like, it is no joke. It's not bad, but I think it's a little overpowering. I think maybe I'll tone down the boil hops a little bit. Maybe take a quarter of an ounce off of that, even half an ounce, and probably just add it into the aroma.
If you've ever tasted a hop pellet before, it has that burn at the back end, which I think is a little bit unpleasant, but I definitely think it's better than the last.
Definitely. Carbonation could be more. I'm a little surprised the carbonation isn't up, considering I had it under pressure for 4 weeks or so. So carbonation is definitely low. I'll need to look at it and see why that is. And maybe I didn't flush out the Pot-Au-Brew enough. I didn't purge the oxygen maybe enough when I was adding the pressure. Definitely a good base. Definitely something crisp. I think if the carbonation were higher, it'd be better. That bitterness in the end, because there's no sweetness to balance it, it's definitely very intense. So I would caution anyone using this method, definitely be careful on your boil hops. The one thing this is missing that we added last time to the hop water was lime.
Mm-hmm.
A little citrus. I think a little bit of acidity, a citrus acidity would help this tremendously. This, I am really happy with how it came out, even though it's really intense on the tongue. This is a tremendous base. It's very clean. There's a lot you could probably do to manipulate the flavors of this. And if you're looking for something that's non-alcoholic, this will get you your hop fix for sure.
Right.
There's no doubt. The other thing, I just want to bring up some of the things that I talked about in the initial video and then realized as we went through. So I mentioned that the fermentation by the yeast helps to alter the flavor of the hops. It makes it's a biotransformation, right? So I took the gravity of the hop water, which was like 0.01 over 1, which is, I think it's 1 for water, just pure water. So obviously could be the sugar, could be the oil, could be the minerals. I think I'm going to throw that off. And I watched to see if it would actually drop back to 1 or below 1. Didn't change at all. I had an airlock on the Pot-Au-Brew. I saw 0 fermentation activity. Now, it could be because there wasn't enough sugar that the yeast in their first phase starts to consume whatever little sugars there was, but it wasn't enough for them to actually convert to alcohol or to produce CO2. So there might have been some yeast activity. I saw no sign of it. I saw no drop in gravity. So if you don't want to add yeast to your hop water, I think that's probably fine. Again, I've heard the experimentations where they say it does make an impact in the flavor. We obviously aren't doing this side by side, but I can't imagine it's going to make a huge difference if it's such a small fermentation that it's not even kicking up enough to make any CO2 at all. The other thing I had neglected to do, which I mentioned in the video, was I forgot to put the hop sock to try to pull the hops out. So I was like, well, we're going to have to keep it on the hop trube and the yeast trube that's in there. And it's been on there for about 4 weeks or so. We get no off flavors from that so far. Definitely no autolysis. So if you're doing a small batch and you're going to be drinking it relatively quickly, I don't think there's any need to remove it. I think if you do remove the hops, it would probably give you more control over the hop flavor. And maybe that's why kind of the finish on this is so intense, because it's been sitting on the hops for a while. So definitely make sure you kind of pull that stuff out. The other thing I tried to do, because it always seems to be cloudy and we don't filter any of our beers or beverages, I put some biofine in it to see if I can get it to drop bright, or at least encourage the yeast to drop out. So as you can see, it is not clear at all. I mean, it's cloudy and it's been at like very cold temperature, almost lager temperatures for like 4 weeks. And the yeast has dropped out, but all those hop oils are in there and they're not coming out of suspension, which I guess is a good thing if you're talking about the flavor. All right, so I got some lime juice, not a sponsor, and I'm just going to dose a little bit in there. I think this is definitely something, if you're going to add lime juice, you would do it post-chilling and kind of add it and let it sit in it the whole time. I figured this would be kind of fun to kind of play with a little bit and see. That helps a lot. I think the increased acidity, a little bit of that citrus kind of helps to ease up on the bitterness and the finish. So definitely citrus is going to be your friend if you're making something like this. We're going to a different variety of hops. Overall, I'm happy with how it came out. I definitely want to tweak the recipe. I definitely want to try it again. It was something very easy. And this is great if you have a non-alcoholic beverage on tap. You get your bubbles, you get your hop fix, and it's light and refreshing. I would almost, if the carbonation was up, I would almost pour this over ice.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, and I think that would be really, really good. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching our video on making hop water in the Pot-Au-Brew. Please comment below if you have made hop water before. If you have any tips and tricks for the rest of us that might help to improve the quality of the hop water we're making, or any fun recipes and things that you've done as well. Catch you later, my friends.